Lil Durk's final trial pushed back after feds allegedly fabricate evidence out of fear. Now it's either more years for Durk or jail time for the feds themselves. In a shocking twist that's turning the entire hip-hop world upside down, Lil Durk's final court sentencing has been delayed once again. Not because of his legal team, not because of missing paperwork, but because the federal authorities themselves might have introduced fake evidence to keep him locked up, and now the whole system is under fire. This time, the stakes are far beyond just Durk's freedom. If these allegations hold water, it's either Durk walks out free, or some of the very feds trying to bury him might be headed to prison instead. Yes, you heard that right. This is the kind of story that sounds too wild to be true, except it's happening right now, in real time, with real lives, real consequences, and real power players watching from the shadows. Let's break down exactly what's going on, and why the justice system just got flipped on its head. It all started with what was supposed to be the final day in court, the sentencing day, the grand finale. Everyone thought that Lil Durk, who's been tied up in an intense legal battle involving alleged gang affiliations and connections to a series of violent incidents, was finally about to hear the judge's final decision. The courtroom was full, media lined up outside, fans praying online, and Lil Durk's close circle, including Lil Baby and his legal team, were in place. Everyone was prepared for closure. But when the judge entered, everything changed. The courtroom fell into a stunned silence as the judge announced that the sentencing would be delayed. Why? Because federal prosecutors had submitted what they claimed was new, critical evidence that needed to be reviewed. According to them, this evidence pointed directly to Durk's involvement in a retaliatory shooting that had previously been under-examined. They acted like this was the missing puzzle piece that would seal the deal once and for all. But that wasn't the truth. Not even close. Behind the scenes, Durk's defense team immediately began digging, and what they discovered sent chills down their spines. Much of this so-called new evidence wasn't new at all. It was old material already examined and allegedly dismissed by prior investigation teams. So why was it being brought back now? And more importantly, why did it look like some of it had been altered? That's when the theories started circulating. The feds were afraid, not of Lil Durk's music, not of his lyrics, but of what he represented. Power, influence, unity. A black man from Chicago who had risen from the dirt to dominate the rap game, uplift his people, and form unbreakable alliances across the industry. A figure who stood tall beside names like Meek Mill, Lil Baby, Drake, and countless others. A man who had survived every attempt to cancel, silence, or destroy him. And now, standing on the brink of a possible release, that was too much for certain people to allow. According to multiple insiders, someone high up wanted Durk gone for good. The delay wasn't for truth. It was a stalling tactic. And worse, it might have been part of a larger conspiracy. The biggest red flag? A leaked document, circulating quietly through legal back channels, allegedly reveals that certain audio recordings and surveillance footage being reintroduced had been previously flagged as inconclusive or doctored. In one case, timestamps didn't align with official case logs. In another, voices identified in a wiretap couldn't be authenticated. Yet somehow, all of this was packaged together as fresh, game-changing material and slid across the courtroom like gospel. Now, let's be clear. If the federal government did tamper with or fabricate evidence to keep someone in jail, that's not just misconduct. That's a felony. That's conspiracy. That's prison time. And now, Durk's legal team is demanding answers. Sources say they filed a motion for an independent forensic team to examine every piece of this new evidence. They've also begun compiling a list of the federal agents and prosecutors responsible for the sudden submission, many of whom are now facing potential subpoenas. This is why the trial was pushed, not because of Durk's guilt, but because the entire case might be unraveling at the seams. And if it turns out that the federal side played dirty, they might be the ones who end up in cuffs. And it's not just lawyers and judges paying attention. The streets are watching. The industry is watching. And Lil Durk? He's watching, too. According to one of his close affiliates, Durk hasn't spoken publicly about the latest developments because he's been advised to stay silent. But behind closed doors, he's locked in, focused, preparing for what may be the most important moment of his life. His reputation, his legacy, and his freedom are all hanging in the balance. And this time, It's not just about defending himself. It's about exposing corruption. Lil Baby, one of Durk's closest allies, was reportedly furious when he found out about the delay. In court, he stood frozen in disbelief as the judge delivered the news. Afterward, he was seen outside the courthouse pacing, making calls, visibly emotional. The betrayal wasn't just against Durk. It was against all of them, because if this can happen to Durk, it can happen to anyone. The situation has escalated beyond just music. Legal experts are beginning to weigh in, and civil rights organizations are reportedly exploring the possibility of federal oversight into the handling of Durk's case. Why was this